historic, you might say, video of a lot of people in this room, including a very young John and Bruce. And it was showcasing the park as it was. It was basically a plea to council to undertake the restoration and how important and what significance this would pose for the community and for the greater Hamilton Waikato if it went ahead. It was really interesting to see how vast and farm-like the place was. There was not an inch of vegetation apart from willow and the like. So really significant, and I think perhaps Bruce will be able to fill you in a little bit later on what was said. So moving forward, now that we don't have that, if you want to go to the YouTube, here it is, it's on here. So this map here gives you a bit of a spatial, I guess, understanding of where the park sits within the Waikato region. And here is a little bit zoomed in, so it gives you the understanding within the city. So you can see Waiwhakareke up in the far left corner, and then the city to the right. This slide also shows you the topography of the land. So through the university's work, they have developed an amazing tool which has worked out the landforms within the park, and those specific landforms, and they guide the planting, I guess you might say. So depending on the landform will depend on the plant species and the succession of those species. So this whole park, I guess, to put it simply, is a very big science project, and it is working really well, and there's lots of learnings along the way, and it's continuing as the years go by to become, even more learnings and even more research available as the plants mature and further plantings happen. They have recently undertaken a review of the tool, so it is an ongoing look and check to see how these landforms are going and providing, and that they've got the plant species on track for the future plantings. There's a very young Bruce. This is in 2004, so this and Kimball in the picture there too. Spot yourselves. As you can see, there's some cattle down on the bottom left-hand corner, very close to where they were planting. It is very much, has always been a working farm, and to this day it is still a working farm. So you can see there that the very first plants going in, and some very eager people listening to Bruce carefully around the importance of that day.
I thought you were going to say that I haven't aged a bit.
I'll just stick with
really
very young Bruce. 2015, you've got the previous mayor, Redman, there putting in his cockatier, and you can see that there is even more people for the next planting, and Jerry's got his community planting signs up. So it had very much started to evolve in year 2. Jumping ahead a wee bit, you've got 2012 with Tony giving a tour of some description. And you can see in the bottom 2 pictures the 2004 planting, the gains that is made in that time. And also in the 2013 photo at the bottom, you can see, does this work? Oh, no. Is that a pointer? Oh, here. So you can see here that is been mown for hay. So very much still in its working farm stage. 10 years. So this picture up here was taken by David Norris, who is an avid horticulturalist, and he is also a balloon enthusiast. So he was up in a balloon that morning and took a picture, which gives us a fabulous look at the park from a totally different angle. And as you can see here, the not restoration, but the natural regeneration of species that weren't actually planted. So the ferns have made their way back naturally to the park, and it was a really fabulous day watching those come in, like, you know, discovering them. And some great pictures from Catherine also. So, anybody guess what that is? The big day, Jerry's Day, also known as Arbor Day. It's very much the day on the calendar that if you know Gerard Kelly, you will get told about probably 365 times, and even the day after it is, don't forget, next year Arbor Day is on. So he is a great advocate for Arbor Day, especially out at the park. Generally there's between 10 and 20,000 plants go in, which is a huge undertaking by the nursery themselves growing the eco-source plants, and also getting the plants to site, and of course the volunteers. So you're looking at around 1,000 to 1,500 volunteers, and usually very small ones. Lots of kids enjoying it, which is fantastic to be able to have them grow up with the plants and visit yearly and see, you know, where they planted the year before or the year before that. So it's going to be a legacy for Hamilton. A lot of the plantings are done and dusted within 3 hours. The biggest one we've had to date is approximately 33,000, and it was like a tsunami wave, pretty much. So we sent the kids to the bottom, and they just started coming up the hill, and before we knew it, it was finished, and it was amazing. So it's a truly incredible day to be part of. Here gives you a bit of an overview from Google Maps of what the park was like in 2004, and as you can see, how fast the park has come in 14 years. How far the park has come in 14 years. To have a comparison like this truly shows the love of restoration that can be achieved through people like yourselves in this room, and I think next year's photos are going to be even more amazing. Here's Jerry's poster. So Arbor Day is happening. It's next Friday. If you're not coming, you better come. So if you are coming, or you'd like to come from this talk, Catherine put on a little bit of information. So if you could meet here opposite the zoo in this car park, and we're going to convene here as per our, past few years of planting days, and then we're actually going to be planting out here. So it's quite exciting. So the next stage of my talk is a little bit more in my comfort zone. It's the talk that I put together. And it is about the new bits, I guess. So a little bit about me. Bruce introduced me. I've been involved in the park for some years now. I'm currently now in a capital development role, and I have been tasked to undertake the capital works project for Waiwhakareke. So we're really lucky in the long-term plan to have been given funding by the council for this year, and it's to put in key infrastructure which will allow the park to be open to the public to enjoy. So the council had decided that, to open to the public and have it fully safe and enjoyable, there was a few key elements that needed to be put in, and as I go through the slides, you'll get a bit of an understanding of what that looks like. So first we start off with some drone footage, so we can have some really fantastic before and after pictures. So what you're looking at now is where one of the new boardwalks is going to be. So being able to visit the lake from two different boardwalks is key. Be able to have a up close and personal look, and it's going to provide for a wonderful teaching space and a place to reflect and seek out the fauna that you can see that calls the lake its home. So to the left we've got the Karaka boardwalk here, Karaka GT. And this is it here. this is going to have the ability to take a boat off down there and undertake the sampling and scientific work needed. And then you've got the Kōwhai boardwalk up in this corner, and it's going to be sort of very much like that. And these are just designs that have been produced by Becca, and the boardwalks will look very similar. This will be able to hold approximately 20 people, so a really great teaching space for kids and the zoo and I guess the volunteers to sit and enjoy the sun and reflect. So we've also, as you will be aware, there's several tracks in the park already. We have upgraded them to ensure that they are smoother underfoot, easier to walk on and enjoy. They were put in initially as a maintenance piece, and now they are for the public. So the outer loop that you can see here with the blue line, that's 2.6 kilometres. So that gives you a really good, jaunt around the park. It also takes you from the main car park right through down to where the activity is around the lake. These are the new paths that we've just put in. They will have blue rock put on them. This is just the first stage, but it gives you an understanding of the extents that we've gone to. And we have a new lavatory, or poo with a view. I didn't really know which one to call it, so we just called it new lavatory among the trees. But don't worry, there's doors, so you don't really get a view. Nobody gets a view of you. But they are very exciting new vaulted toilets that the Waiwhakareke Advisory Group have been desperately, and the Friends, after for many years, and we're excited to say that they are in. They are very high off the ground at the moment, but there is a platform going in to aid getting up into them. You don't need a stepladder, you don't need to carry a stepladder with you. They are they're very smart looking. I was quite surprised when they got on site and had a look inside. It is a vaulted system, so that is why they're so proud. We didn't want them to be in-ground system. There is some of the tank under the ground, but it's very much above the ground. It will get sucked out with the truck when it is full, so I hope you're not any of the people that are going to decide it's full, because that's what that's going to be like. But it's apparently by viewing, looking down the toilet, so there's no little measure system, ding, 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 so let's hope somebody points it out before it gets too full. The idea of having a vaulted system is, to protect the natural, the lake and the peat, and there's just a whole lot of environmental issues having sewage in that space, and it's so close to the lake. So you can see in the previous slide, that is the toilet right there. So it's in between the two viewing platforms and the barn. So it is very much, if we didn't have the trees, it would be a loo with a view. So there is a wheelchair accessible toilet to the left, which is the orange door, and then a general toilet to the right. So enjoy. They won't be open for Arbor Day. We don't want it filled up on the first day. Colours of the past. So a lot of, you would have seen in the pictures, there's a bit of a theme going on, especially with the toilets. The park is rich in history, and the history has been obviously played a big part in the identity of the park, and therefore into the new infrastructure. We've woven the colours throughout the site, including the toilet and the signage. The black is representative of the wetlands, the peat soils, which contain black iron-rich mud, and it was traditionally used for dyeing. And then you have the orange and yellow colours that have come through from the Coprosma grandiflora. So to me, they were, it was a given, and that these had to be on display and tell that story in a different way. So this is my take on the science side of Waiwhakareke. So as I've talked about previously, the landforms dictated the plants, and for me this is pretty much my pet for this project. I really wanted to allow the public to understand when that area specifically was planted and why it was planted the way it was. So we've decided to put in these touchstones, and I guess the biggest thing was, when you're walking through the park, which you'll understand today if you haven't been there before, you often just stare out and you think, wow, that's a really big flax. I wonder when that was planted. And that's pretty much what runs through your mind through most of the planting, especially because it's so staged. So to have the identity of the planting with that symbol and the year, I think it really helps you connect with the park a lot more. And so I've developed these touchstones and the symbols to represent the topography, and this will be displayed throughout the park, and the map will be within the interactive barn so you can actually understand a little bit more if you want to know more. Some people just want to know the year, but some people might want to know what the symbol means. So it kind of gives two sides for the overly enthused or the general want to know. So this is quite an interesting portion of the work that I've been undertaking, and it's been really consumes your mind when you start thinking about lefts and rights and naming tracks and what things might be called. So it turns out, in my 5+ years being involved in the site, it means that I have no issue finding my way around, and getting lost isn't an issue, it doesn't come front of mind. But I've learned through this process that it is a very real thing. Once you are amongst the trees, it is difficult to navigate, and of course this is only going to get harder as the vegetation becomes a canopy. So it was strongly suggested to me that you put in signage. So I have, or I will have. So you'll see the different sets here, and we've named the tracks very loosely north, south, and you'll be able to find your way around, so there's no threat of getting lost. So you'll be able to wander without that fear. And this is the new signage. Currently we have signage on both entrances that says under construction, do not enter. So this will replace that and when the park is open to the public. And it's a new look, it's a new fresh sign, and I guess I wanted it so that people would actually take notice of it. It's not just like the other one that's got a few new words to it. It clearly says what's required, and also what you can and can't do within the park, because going forward that's really key for this park, is that for the public that are using it to understand that they can't just walk their dog if they feel like it, because in time you won't be able to. While we open the park, it will still be a working farm, which will be quite an interesting dynamic for a few years yet. So sticking to the tracks is key, and that's what's identified in that map. I guess, if you know the park, it's bigger than that bubble, but for the purposes of the public, we really want them to stick to those tracks, unless they are supervised. So that's what you will see on the signage, and it is a temporary sign. As the development of the park happens, it will get refreshed as required. So I just wanted to give you a little taste of future plans, I guess, for the zoo and the park. So there is a design investigation happening at the moment, looking at how the two identities can work together and have a shared entry that will, I guess, facilitate both spaces. This is very early in the concept, so this is all that I could show you today, but basically it's a little bit of watch the space. It's going to be pretty exciting in the future, and the park's going to continue to grow with this alignment with the zoo. questions?
Okay, do we have any questions for the